Radio. Rahim here with Eddie Hearn. Joshua having found a new trainer. Was the date a concern so that he would have enough time with Garcia?
No. It was more about being able to promote a super fight for Saudi Arabia. You know, the time of the press conferences, the multi-city tours of the press conferences. People don't realise that AJ's really been working with Robert Garcia pretty much since December. You know, he's been in full camp with him for a long time. The extra 3 or 4 weeks, will it help? Maybe. I mean, but he was ready to go July 23rd. He's ready to go August 30th. So he's in great shape. Obviously, Robert's buzzing, especially with the Bam Rodriguez performance and victory at the weekend. And everyone's really confident. Press conference on Wednesday in London, the final one there. And then they start, you know, the real deep stuff for the camp, ready to, you know, like you say, provide another super fight for the fans.
And another commonality between the two, it is his second loss. And you've been down this road before. The first one was a huge shock for everybody. Not that this wasn't a surprise, but a more contentious fight. You could see how it would go that way. The mentality of Joshua now, having experienced a loss, come back and avenged it, once again having to do the same. But in this case, I think there is less confidence that he wins the second fight. Most people thought he would beat Ruiz the second time out.
Yeah, I mean, the difference in the two fights is AJ was on everybody's list the much better fighter than Andy Ruiz. Okay, Ruiz stopped him. The difference between the two fights and results, and this is in terms of digesting it for AJ, is AJ wasn't really right for the Ruiz fight. He was right for the Usyk fight. He just got beat by the better fighter. With the Ruiz defeat, he could almost say, look, I wasn't really right. I got caught. I didn't recover. I shouldn't have lost, but I did. You can't say I shouldn't have lost against Usyk because you did, and he outboxed you. You came in with the wrong game plan, and the better technical fighter won on the night. So that's been almost more difficult for him to digest because he's had to go away and try and improve and come back with a better game plan. People said when he lost to Ruiz, you shouldn't fight Ruiz again. You know, you should come back, rebuild, etc. Now people say after the Usyk fight, you shouldn't fight Usyk again. This guy has a stellar resume and he only wants to fight the best fighters in the world. This was the only fight he was interested in. But he does have to change. And, you know, he's changing against a pound-for-pound great. It's not like some people just say, he just needs to be more aggressive. He just needs to come on and let his hands go. It's not that easy against a great like Usyk. But certainly he does need to do a lot of those things. And, you know, it's very difficult for him to overcome it. He's in a great place physically and mentally. And we all truly believe he'll win this fight. And he needs to do so for his career.
Well, for Usyk's case, he knows what we're all talking about. He knows what the adjustment Joshua will likely make. What do you make of the adjustment Usyk might make to that? And how dangerous a fight is it really? I know Joshua's obviously a man, but this is a huge, dangerous fight.
It's also one of the great heavyweight fights, you know, not just of our generation now, but of all time. You know, when we was out there in Saudi last week, it feels like Rumble in the Jungle, Thriller in Manila. I mean, when you see the scenes in Saudi, you know, it's got that kind of feel to it, and it's a must-win heavyweight fight. You're right, Usyk has the ability to adapt to all kinds of styles, but he doesn't like the physicality. He doesn't like to get hit, particularly to the body. And it's no secret that AJ's got to be more aggressive in the fight, not just more aggressive. You know, Robert Garcia made a good point about, you know, you almost need game plan 1, 2, and 3, and you need to be able to adapt during the fight because Usyk is very, very good and very smart. But he's got to be more aggressive in the fight, and he knows it's a must-win. And you know, I truly believe that he'll knock him out. He'll stop him in this fight because I think he has to. I don't think he can afford to just box him and, you know, try and outpoint him. I think he's got to be aggressive, and I think he's got to try and knock him out.
And lastly, obviously, Tyson Fury having retired, which is hard for any of us to believe, and he's already talked about what it might take for him to return. The winner of this fight, it looms heavy.
I don't think Tyson Fury will fight again if Usyk wins. But I think if AJ wins, which we believe he will, then I think you'll see the undisputed fight between those two. But, you know, that's why AJ's taking this fight. He wants to force the undisputed fight. It's always been, you know, his dream to be undisputed, and he can't do it without the belts. So he takes this rematch and he gives it everything to try and become a 3-time world champion.
Now, objectively, by your estimation, with these three guys, Usyk, Joshua, Tyson, let's assume he's active, who is the top heavyweight in the division?
You're asking a very biased individual. I'm a big believer that Anthony Joshua is the best heavyweight in the world. But right now, on paper, you can't say it. I actually think with the resume, and not just obviously he's only had a couple of heavyweight fights, but having beaten AJ, having come up undisputed cruiserweight world champion, you know, I get a lot of criticism when I talk about Tyson Fury's resume. The fact is that his big wins have been against Deontay Wilder 3 times, but 1 individual, and Vladimir Klitschko. Well, AJ beat Vladimir Klitschko. He also beat Povetkin, Ruiz, Parker, Dillian White, another fighter that Tyson Fury's beaten. So I put AJ's resume consistently as better than all of them at heavyweight. But on paper, it's a toss-up between Usyk and Fury, number one right now. Hopefully that will change August 20th.
All right, well, the man who knows how to make money, and certainly big fights, many to come this year. Can't wait for Joshua, Usyk, and we're here for Canelo, Triple G3, Radio Rahim with Eddie Hearn.